Hello again, welcome to Paul's Racing Channel and to the Ultimate Racing League and round 3 track guide coming up for you here in Brazil at the Interlagos circuit. Before I start this one, just something to point out that I didn't mention in the previous videos is that the weather that you're seeing on these track guides is the correct settings and the correct weather for the round itself for the race 1 setting. So what you see is what is going to be come the actual racing events themselves. So here we go then, just come out of the final corner, about to cross the line onto to start lap 4. Now as you can see, sort of late evening here, about sunrise time and early morning sunrise I should say, and yeah, it's not that bright, obviously. So going to try my best to give you the best track guide I can under the conditions of the lights and the lighting that you can see. So here we go. As we come across the line now, turn 1, staying to the right-hand side. Now just back there, somewhere, can't see it. The 50-metre board is just, I've just gone past it actually, so maybe a little bit too late in braking, but you're going to be dropping it down to about 2nd gear. So I'm in 4th still at this point actually, so I do well to get it down to 2nd gear at this point because the turn is right there to the left, just under the bridge that you can see. So 2 quick gear changes down to 2nd gear at this point to try and clip this inside curb as much as you can. Now on this Porsche, got to be a little bit careful. It doesn't particularly like too much of the curbs, and so you've got to be a little bit more cautious around particularly around this course, because there are some quite sort of high curbs here, so got to be a little bit careful in the Porsche here. So but try and take some of the inside curb as you can, and 2nd gear here, and then switching it across to use all of the one on the right hand. It's not too bad on this one because you're just at the bottom coming down the hill, so you can use a little bit more, but again you're just kind of rolling it through these. You don't really want to give too much power going across these curbs. So rolling it around the turn 1 left-hander into turn 2 right-hander, and then you're going to be into this sweeping left-hander for turn 3. Now I tend to hug this inside curve all the way pretty much, and on exit go back out to the right and use some of that on the right-hand side. Now back this down the straight now, just after the steward's box, which is there, 100-metre board is about where you're going to, so I'm in 6th gear still at this point, is where you're going to start to want to change gear and brake. So just after this hut, or about where the hut is, and then you're going to try and use some of this inside curve. So yeah, down to 3rd gear at this point, using the curb. Again, got to be a little bit careful, don't want to be running out too far on the right hand side, certainly not out onto that green stuff that will give you a penalty, and it's very slippery out there as well, especially with the light as it is in this particular race. So got to be a little bit careful there not to take too much of that on the right hand side. So clipping this inside curve here, that's not a problem at all. Up the gearbox, again just clipping that one. Again, you don't want to be running over that too far. If you take all your car across that, that will give you a penalty as well. So it's quite a penalty ridden circuit. There's got to be, there's lots of zones where it throws you penalties, so you've got to be very careful here at Interlagos. 50-metre board. Now what am I in? Drop it down to 3rd now. I was in about 5th gear coming up to the 50-metre board, so I dropped it down a couple just to help me get up the other side and hug this inside, getting up the hill, steep hill now, just using as much of this inside as I possibly can, feed it all the way out, use all this curve on the left now, and then going to drop it down to 1st or 2nd gear. Now the important thing to note here is that you can actually take all of this inside curve. I know I was just saying about the Porsche not being particularly great on here. It's okay if you can take it easy and don't give it the full beans through these over these curves. You can just give it a little bit, again, just sort of run it through, nothing too heavy footed through this section. So use all of that. And again, this one particularly, it doesn't like this one at all. If you touch too much, as you can see, it's almost got a bit of a rise on it, that curb on the inside. So it will bottom out if you get too far on that. The car will bottom out and it will well, it will shoot you off in a direction, whatever direction it decides it wants to throw you. But it's not good to be using too much of this. Do not be very cautious. Don't be too greedy on this particular curb. So I'm staying well clear of it at that point. Now on the exit, you can use all of this straight one, this flat one, as much as you can on there. You can go all the way across that if you wish. And again, dropping it down to first or second, and exactly the same as before. Exactly the same corner, pretty much. You can use all of it, just don't be too heavy-footed across it. Out the other side, use a little bit on the left. Now again, this one's a bit similar to the other one, so there's quite similarities between the last two sets of corners actually. This one again is a little bit raised on the inside. This wheel also being on the camber downhill as well. Got to be even more ferocious if you get yourself on that curb too much with the bottoming out of the car. So got to be a little bit careful. Use all of that on the right if you like. That's not a problem. Over the time in line, 50-meter board, start to brake and clip this inside curb. Second gear for me here. Clip that now. Exit and away you go. Use all that on the right if you wish, not too much so. Up the hill now, and all the way really to the line. I come all the way out to the right hand side as you come up the hill. Just let the flow of the circuit take you right out there. Some people might be a little bit more tighter through this section, but I'll come all the way out and almost on the touching the grass at this point. And here on the pit entrance, you can use half of this solid line, but don't go right away across it. A penalty will be given here as well, so you can use some of it just to try and sort of straight line it and then cross the line. So chase hand time to turn one, turning in here using a lot of that curb actually. So just as I was saying, don't take too much curb in this Porsche. It's not so bad if you're rolling it through. I'm not actually applying any power at this point. I'm just letting it roll through on the hill, downhill. And again, just feathering it through this one. Now I'll just go all the way using all this curb on the inside. Getting as close as I possibly can on exit, using all that curb on the right hand side through here now. Longly straight to the steward's box, 100-meter board. And I think the brake lights are actually probably not yet. There they go. So just in the trust after the box. So just at that point, I'm braking now. Heavy braking into this left-hander. Down to third gear for me here. Feed it out. Don't want to take too much of that on the right-hand side. Clip that inside there. Use all of that. Well, not too much of that. Not all of it, I should say. It's a little bit. Up to 50-meter board. Down to third gear. Just to use the engine braking a little bit here up the hill. Use all of this on the left. Probably a little bit more than that you can use, and then switching it across all that inside curve there. Down to first gear for me here. First gear, quick switch to second. Okay, don't be too greedy on these ones. You'll see the similarities between that last one and this one, and then the next two as well, exactly the same. So you don't want to be taking too much of this. I've just sort of, quarter of the car perhaps on there. Two of the wheels, that's about it. All the way out. Using half the car on this one. Switch it over to the left, ready for this tight right-hander. Again, I'm quite wide there actually. You can use a little bit more of the inside curb. Use a little bit on the exit. This is the other one I was saying, it's even more cambered. Again, I've used a little bit of it, but not too much. Just kind of feather it through there, down at this point in time, and then clip that inside curb. I'll go up the other side to the line. So that's your track guide for Interlagos in Brazil. It's your round 3. And, I will do the rest of them pretty soon. Keep watching this channel for those. Thanks for watching this channel, and I will catch up with you soon. Thanks, bye for now.